Hello and welcome to Work to Game. My name is Brian, and in this review we're going to be breaking down the Elite Series 2 controller by Microsoft for Xbox and PC, comparing it to an Elite Series 1, talking about the Nintendo Switch as a measuring point in size, weight, and feel, as well as breaking down the differences between the Series 2 and the Series 1, and finally going over the software in detail, what you can do with the Series 2, what is new, and more. And I have to say right out of the box, the Series 2 feels incredible. It feels great to touch. It feels like a really high quality product, and that's going to be interesting when you obviously compare it to the Series 1. The Series 1, it's been out for a long time. It's got a lot of wear and tear, and I love it a lot, but I can easily see up here in the upper left-hand corner that the left bumper, which would be considered like L1 if you're a PlayStation user, that has had some issues. It's come loose from time to time. I've heard other stories about the wear and tear for this product not lasting the life of it. So this being a new product, there's no way to jump ahead a couple years in the future and see how these things are holding up. Now, this cost me just under $190 with shipping for the new Elite Series 2. And the question is it worth it? Is this going to be worth your time and money? And the answer is going to vary depending on your current financial situation, as well as what are your gaming needs. If you're just a primary PlayStation user, obviously there are some really good controllers out there if you're looking for more of that professional level upgrade. Why do you want to upgrade in the first place? Well, you've got a lot of paddles on the back. You have a lot of customization options. If you guys are new or have never seen these controllers before, the new Series 2 has 3 different settings for the triggers on the back end. And you can kind of easily adjust this on the fly, and that's going to determine the depth in which that the controller can go. Now, the Elite Series 1 had that as well, but it only had 2 different measuring points, so this adds a third tier as well. The first main feature, I guess if I was going to tell you why you should pick up a Series 2 versus any other Xbox controller out there on the market, would be the 40+ hour battery life that the Series 2 brings in. And that brings me to the Nintendo Switch controller right here. This has a measurable 40-hour battery life. And when they first announced that, I was really rather impressed, because for a PlayStation controller, for an Xbox controller, even if you had the charge kits on the Xbox, they definitely never got that 40 hours of game time use. They've measured this, and in fact, it's actually showing up sometimes even more than 40 hours. It uses the USB-C connector. If I was going to tell you what's different about the old Xbox controllers versus this one, this connection actually makes it a lot easier to plug in the device and not. Now you can see here in the charging case, I can actually just set it in the cradle, and whenever it is charged in, it will vibrate, give me a little feedback that it is connected and charging, and a little light will light up here on the controller, letting me know that it is charging as well. It's very convenient. The only downside is it's in this case, and I have kids, so I'm going to close this up and zip it up. I can't just set it in here and forget it. However, this is you can take this out, you can then leave this wherever it needs to go, so you don't actually technically have to charge it in the case alone. But it's nice that it has that feature, especially for parents out there with little kids, because if you guys leave this out and about, they're going to take these things and you're going to be finding them or stepping on them for years to come. They consider these gone. You'll never find them again. The kids are really great at hiding things. Anyway, so we talked a little bit about that, all these things are customizable. What is not is that these sticks are not tradable. I cannot put a Series 2 stick on a Series 1, and I can't put a Series 1 on a Series 2 with having it have a real good fit. However, the D-pads are exchangeable, so I can just flop that out, pop that in, and there you go. You can kind of get a feel if you have a preference. This does feel a lot different than this. This has a little bit smoother, but I also kind of personally like the look. The silver is a part of the Series 1. And so I'm going to leave that back here because it gives me a nice little contrast as well. Same thing applies to all the D-pads. You can easily swap these in and out. These do have the same kind of textured feel and more. Also what's interesting is the various different paddles that are on the back of the controller. Still as easy to add and remove as ever. You can just easily pop those in and out. So if you're new and you've never played with paddles before, I'm going to show you my setup. I actually don't use these top paddles. I use the bottom 2 paddles, and that's pretty much it. So if I'm playing like a shooter, I use this kind of for B, and I use this for A. Thus, pretty much primarily, I never have to take my finger off the other stick, so I can either be jumping around and flying, shooting, and keeping my hopeful target in lock, and it really is very comfortable. That's where I would say if you're looking to really try to be competitive, it might be worth the upgrade to invest in a controller like this that has paddles, whether it's a Xbox controller or another professional grade controller, because this keeps both fingers on sticks at all times, and unless you need to use X and Y, but that's why you also have the other 2 slots. I find, especially for my hands and my size, that I would accidentally press the other two paddles, and thus I keep it with the back 2 as well. This makes it nice and easy and comfortable to do slides and jumps as well. But you can see here, obviously it's very easy to install and more. And you can even kind of install it in the opposite side if desired. These paddles are also exchangeable with these, and you can see that they have come in different sizes as well. So if I was just to do that as a demonstration for you, easy breezy, beautiful, and that's actually kind of on top of it. So it ultimately would be better if I put it on this side, so that way they're not stepping on one another, and you can kind of see that it's got a visual different look as well as different size. So if you are coming and thinking about upgrading, note that some parts are going to be exchangeable and some aren't. So kind of play around with what works best for you. We covered the triggers and overall the look and feel. One of the things that's really surprising is this button itself, where you have on the old Xboxes kind of a deep press. You could press those. This is more of a click, than it doesn't really indent at all. Triggers, buttons, everything feels really fantastic and responsible. And responsible is a great word. From it though, you can go in again, play around with the different sticks to kind of get a feel for whatever you're needing. Personally, I never really got big into the different sticks as a part of the Elite, so I'm not taking full advantage of it, but it is what it is. So how's this feel overall to the original Series 1? They, in weight, feel roughly the same weight, but they both make the Nintendo Switch feel like a toy. The Nintendo Switch itself is very light, very responsive. It's got the offset sticks, but this feels very plasticky. This feels very, very nice. It's very good to hold. It's very comfortable to hold, especially for long in gaming sessions. The very textured grips, which are coming on more of the new Xbox controllers anyway, is great. And the Series 2 does work over Bluetooth where the Series 1 does not. In fact, if you were asking should you get the Series 1 if they end up discounting the price to something that is really cheap, personally I would recommend holding off on this and moving to this because of its portability, because of its future with Bluetooth and more. You can connect it to ultimately more devices than you could a Series 1 controller, and that's where it goes. Plus the 40 hours battery life, plus the USB-C and the charge station that you can use to easily set and rest things for a very comfortable and enjoyable experience overall with the controller. They both pair with previous accessories, microphones, and more. And here's a chat pad that I like to use in games, and it's easy to kind of just get this connected in, attach, and then you have obviously a very different experience. This does add a little weight to it, but it's very nice because this lights up and you can end up putting out text chat if necessary in the game itself. So if you guys have any questions about the differences between the two and the one when it comes to kind of the tactile, the look and feel, please let me know, because this is by far my recommendation for a controller. We'll have to wait and see over the next couple of years how this lasts, but I can tell you right now, like if you went to hold this and then you went to hold this, the texture and the feel and how it feels manufactured, it feels way more put together, way more solid. And this felt really solid when we first got it as well. Still feels solid, but this makes this definitely feel like an upgrade just in how you touch it, just how you interact with it, and go from there. So let's go ahead and dive now into the software and talk about what you can do and what you can expect with the Series 2 and how you can customize it. So whether you're on Xbox or PC, you're going to have access to the Xbox Accessories app. This is going to bring up your customization controls. Now you can name your controller. My old Series 1 is named Dragon. This one is named Fireborn. So this is a theme for me, I guess, because I think Fireborn sounds like an epic name for a controller. And you can assign your profile to sign you in. So whenever you turn on the controller, it's going to recognize that this is your controller and it's going to sign you in. That's nothing new as far as it goes, but you can go into configure, and you can see here with the Series 2, you actually get 3 slots to equip your gear sets. You can also save up to 200 in the cloud and change them in and out as needed. So going into configure, you're going to see your 3 default profiles, and you can easily make any number of profiles as well. What a profile is just how you decide to assign these slots. So if I go look at slot 1 right here and I click on edit, it's going to bring up the editing controls where any button can be any other button. But what's new is you can actually set things to be a shift button. So if I press on this button here, I can say use as a shift button, meaning if I'm holding down this button, it can modify another button. I can use it to sign, like make audio clips, make video clips, make any kind of thing, take a screenshot if necessary. But what this is a really cool thing is that being able to have in modifiers to your controls. So that's, I mean, pretty basic, right? If you're like, hey, I want this paddle on the back to act like a A button, or I want it to act like a B button, you have full control over how you do that. But again, having different sets, like in this case for like Gears 5, if I wanted A to be kind of that run, that grunt run for my character, that ends up being very comfortable. Where in another game, I want it to be B because I want to be running, sliding, shooting, and hopefully getting the kill. Now, there's a lot of other things you can do. Also, you can see the click on the stick and the left stick as a movement. You can mess yourself up. I did that one time where for some reason I accidentally auto-mapped the up button to do something else on a different profile. And it kind of caught me off guard until I remembered, oh, that's right, this one random profile uses up in a different way because it was playing a specific game for a specific thing. So beyond mapping, you can tune the stick sensitivities very directly. Assignment primary, shift, default sensitivity, delayed, aggressive, instant. So you have a lot to adjust here that you can kind of play around with to find your perfect setting as far as it goes. Let me just shift this back. It's going to throw me off if I go into a game. But this is all about tuning your sensitivity as part of the curve with your left stick, with your right stick. And then you can also play around with your triggers as well and tune them as best as you can to get the best performance that you can. Same thing applies to the vibration of your left trigger, right trigger, and your left main and your right main side of the device. And you can really feel the tactile response here, and the sensitivities are incredible that you can kind of play around with if you wanted to have something a little bit more subtle and more. Now, at the end of the day, the brightness is just the brightness. You can adjust the brightness of the button. So maybe you're playing in a dark room and you don't want to have a little light glow coming in at top. You can lower down the brightness as well and go from there. But the real, just the beauty of this is the button mapping. Can't even say button anymore. The left and the right stick configuration. And that's just where I'm going to leave it with you guys right now. And that is really the strength of why you want to kind of look at investing in, I guess, a more professional controller if you're trying to take your competition to the next level. At under 190, is it worth it? For me, yes. Hands down, I'm really happy that I got this new controller. I love the ability to dock and charge this just by setting it down on the dock itself. I love the USB-C, meaning I can plug it in much easier. And over the course of the life of it, I bet you're going to see more of the Xbox controllers go to that USB-C because it's much cleaner connection. That's where the Switch also has that USB-C. Very clean connection. You don't have to worry about so much of kind of bending the little parts on the inside. That's actually what broke a couple of my older $60 controllers, and ultimately, obviously, one of the reasons why I upgraded to the original Elite S. But beyond just the battery life and that connection, you can feel the quality. Now, if fast forward a couple years from now, if this thing is breaking, if buttons are flying off of it, if it just doesn't last and hold up, well, ultimately then we'll do an update to this review and let you know at the time. So this is the review. Is it worth it for you? Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be picking up one of these controllers, or if you're interested, or if there's any questions I can help answer for you regarding this controller itself, because $190 is a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask, especially when you already have invested so much in either other controllers or other consoles. It's a lot to ask for anybody, unless you're a billionaire and you're making just insane money and you're just like, I got my street littered with these Elite controllers. Well, good for you. Power to you, buddy. But the most of us, we got to live on a budget. And I think that if you're looking to take it to the next level, if you have the money and you're looking to get a good controller, this is one you should absolutely consider. Maybe try to go run into a store and see if any stores have at least a hands-on demo so you can get the feel for it, because honestly, this feels amazing in my hands. The Elite one feels amazing, or it felt amazing, but this one kind of is light years above, and I can't explain it in any other words than that. Just how it feels to hold is very comfortable, and so that's where I'm going to leave it with you. All the new technology, all the advanced connections with Bluetooth make this light years better than its predecessor, and that is my review. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns in the comments below. For Work to Game, my name's Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.